Hey everyone, welcome back to Addie P's Real Estate Tea, where today I want to delve into the current rental crisis that's going on here locally and also in different parts of the US. Now, before I get into this video, I always ask, and you also graciously oblige, if you like what you hear, please hit that thumbs up button. Also, consider subscribing to the channel to get more real estate related content, and also hit that bell notification to be notified of future videos on this channel. And you already know, if you're watching your girl from Instagram, drop her a heart and show her some love. All right. Now, I felt the need to talk about this current rental crisis going on. I read this article that recently came out in a local news outfit here in the Lehigh Valley called The Morning Call, for those of you who are not watching locally. And also speaking with some people that I know personally who are going through this. And I really just felt a need to kind of touch upon it and maybe offer a pointer or two. But unfortunately, it's something that I see that is going to be here to stay for a bit. So definitely buckle up. And if you are on the renter side of it, hopefully you are taking some of these steps that I'm talking about, or that I will be talking about in the video, to further your efforts and further your chances of either A, getting into a home, or B, securing a place to stay, another rental. Now, as we all have been reading the news, unless you're living under a rock, we have been inundated with news of inflation. This is inflated, that's inflated, gas is inflated, groceries are inflated. Everything that we need from our day-to-day lives has been inflated. No mystery here. Housing was soon to follow. We have seen unprecedented years of real estate growth over the past 2 years, essentially. 2020, we had a little dip there because of the beginnings of the pandemic, but as soon as things opened back up, it was definitely more than business as usual. Real estate really took off even more. And even prior to the pandemic, we were having inventory shortage issues, but now it is just ridiculous. So with this inventory shortage that has been experienced, that has since spilled over into the rental sector and caused rentals to go through the roof, essentially. A lot of folks that are looking for rentals, they're really having a hard time. Now, in December of 2021, we saw 18.3% growth, so double digit growth in the median sales price. Now, like I said, that directly, not directly, but basically same type of growth happen in the rental sector as well. And a lot of the rental growth and demand for rentals is coming from the fact that landlords are cashing in. A lot of landlords, are saying, hey, you know what, I have this awesome investment, this awesome opportunity right now. They too may have other areas of their life that they, may need the money or just want it. What's the sense in investing if you can't cash in on it, correct? You plant a seed, you water it, you take good care of it, make sure it has plenty of sunlight, and you wanna reap that harvest. So definitely nothing wrong with that at all. So please don't, for my landlords out there, do not take that in the sense that this is a video to beat up on landlords. Definitely never a safe space here on my channel for slumlords either. So if that's your thing, then you can go to another channel. But my point in saying all of that is, it's still, that's all nice, that's all dandy. For those who are renting, they're looking like, okay, Addie, well, great, they're making money, but where am I going to live, essentially? And that's the issue. Now, in the article, to jump back to that, a young man was outlined in the article along with his parents, and he stated that they were currently staying in a hotel. Current trend, a lot of landlords are selling their properties, and who's buying them are folks that want to actually occupy the property. So we have a dilemma here. We have, someone who's currently there. They're saying, okay, you know what, so and so, you have X amount of days to find a place to go. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. I'm selling the house, and that's that. It's a business arrangement. When you rent from someone, you sign a contract. You are essentially entering into a business contract between you and that other individual. You're upholding that end of the contract by paying a monthly fee for rent each month to rent that space, and in turn that person is providing you the opportunity, the privilege, whatever it may be to you, to occupy that space. So needless to say, actual occupants are purchasing these properties that these landlords are selling. So that is leaving tenants without a way out besides to go elsewhere. So if this is happening in larger numbers in different parts, whether it's here in the valley, like I said, or across the country, because there are other housing markets that are experiencing the same things that we are here, then that leaves a big group of competitors there. So I'm competing with, someone else, or, 10, 15 other people for a property. And they've also gone through the same thing. Hey, I have a timeline. I have to leave, so it definitely causes even more tension and adds more tension to an already hectic and stressful situation, and this is happening to folks, like I said, I know someone personally that I was just speaking to today, and she stayed in her place for 7 years, and all of a sudden got the phone call from her landlord. Hey, you know what? I spoke with my agent. I have a great opportunity here to get, at or over market value for this property, and I'm going to sell it. You have X amount of days to leave. Now, 7 years of staying somewhere, raising your children, getting comfortable, is definitely devastating in that sense. And while some landlords that I know that have sold their properties that were tenant occupied have definitely used a lot of poise and helped their tenants in the sense of giving them the time that they need to relocate. Ultimately, if you have a buyer who's waiting to say, hey, you know what, I need to get in here, I need to get settled, my children are going to be starting school soon, or whatever the case may be, then that adds a lot of pressure to that. And of course, if I feel pressure, I'm going to put the pressure on to, unfortunately, that tenant to hurry up and find a place to go. Now, with wages being stagnant, wage growth has not been that great, for years. That really amplifies the problem with renters being able to branch out and find something within their means. And using the example of the person that I know, who's been there 7 years. Well, over 7 years, the rental market has changed considerably. So now you're in a whole new arena trying to compete and trying to find a place. So this crisis has also further exacerbated the shortage for inventory for buyers. And I say that because, okay, if I have to get out now and I can't rent, it's still relatively cheaper to actually purchase a property or a home to live in. So now I'm being shoved into home ownership. And while that definitely is not a problem, it's actually more advantageous. That only adds to the competitive nature that is already going on in the buyer market. Make no mistake about it, We have experienced chilly weather, but there is nothing chilly about this real estate market and with buyer activity. We are still seeing multiple offer situations. We are definitely still in shortage mode, and I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. As I've discussed in videos previously, this past year so far, I've said that I don't see a slowdown, a relative slowdown, until maybe mid part of this year, because we still got spring coming up, and we still have a whole slew of buyers, whether they are buyers who are left over from 2020, 2021, or buyers that just got the news, like my personal friend here that is saying, hey, you know what, I got to find a place to go now. Wasn't necessarily anticipating on buying a home right this moment, but guess what, I'm going to be buying a home now. So those are some factors that really get thrown into the mix. And again, we what can really be done about it? There's really no villain here. There aren't. I think that sometimes, again, referencing back to the landlord, we look at the landlord like, oh, they're running off to the bank with your hard-earned rent money, and they're throwing you out into the streets, and that's not always the case. Like I said, really, essentially, slumlords and those not so good landlords really only represent a small fraction of the issue that's going on here, with folks not being able to relocate and get into another stable rental situation. So my suggestion, which is kind of redundant, is somewhat similar to what you would do if you were going to start preparing yourself to purchase a home. But I say this because I feel it needs to be done. If not now, definitely very soon, for those who are in rental situations, because you really don't ever know what your landlord may do, especially if you're renting a home. It's a little different if you're renting an apartment, especially in a multi-unit building. 9 times out of 10, it may be someone who wants it as an investment as well. But when you're actually renting a home, in this current market, that can mean that the person purchasing that place may not be another landlord. It may be someone who actually is residing there, and that's happening more and more. So my suggestion is, do not get comfortable. Where if you're renting right now, take a step back, take some time, put together a plan of action. Preparedness is always the best. Start setting aside some money. Setting aside some money can help you if you want to delve into home ownership, so you have some down payment money, or if you want to continue renting, because home ownership just may not be for everybody, and that's fine. But at least if you have some good cash reserves set aside, then you can take that money and use it as a bargaining tool. Hey, you know what? I see there are 5 other people applying. I have X amount of dollars that I could give you, and pay so many months more in advance. That might be enticing to a landlord, along with a good credit and work portfolio to match, which leads me to my next thing. If you are struggling with credit issues, now is definitely the time. Yesterday was actually the time to definitely button up any loose ends with any old debts, any kind of, lagging credit, and get that credit score up. I can't tell you enough, how much our credit really dictates things daily in our lives, let alone a roof over our head. So if you want to outshine competitors, again, if you're not buying and you're going to, step off and get into another rental situation, then you have to make sure that you have some decent credit. Now, landlords are definitely looking for, maybe 620 and higher, maybe sometimes, depending on where you're going, higher than that. You know, it really all depends. But again, you know, putting yourself in a position that you can say, okay, well, this rental amount is, you know, $1,000. I make $3,000 or $4,000 a month. So I'll definitely be able to afford this. You always want to make sure that you're putting yourself in those positions that you're able to outshine, you know, your competitor. Because if not, like I said, you're going to be struggling, and you're definitely going to be spinning your wheels, and you know, the competition is only getting thicker. So with all that being said, I hope that this video helps shine some light on not only what's going on right now with this rental crisis, but just a few little tidbits of things that you can do to maybe get started. Remember, small steps equal great progress. So until the next video, you all have a blessed one. Take care.